Today, I will be chatting with Max and Frank of the band Another Demon, discussing the re-release of their album As Above, So Below, which will be coming out April 18th. I hope you enjoy.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Are we waiting for Max as well?
No.
Okay, it's just you.
Yeah.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get started if we had someone else coming.
No, 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 no. Yeah, no. Max has a couple other things going on, so
Yeah, no problem. How's your days?
pretty good. Pretty good. Can't complain. How about you?
Not too bad. I'm tired and it's only 5:30 here. It's still sunshiny out and for some reason it's like that weird afternoon exhaustion that you feel like you could lay down and go to sleep, but you know that
Mhm.
you shouldn't because then you're not going to sleep at night. So,
Yeah. No matter how much coffee you have, either.
yeah, no. And I had coffee earlier and I swear I felt like I was going to take a nap after. I'm at that age now where it almost has that reverse effect on me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're
Yeah.
preaching to the choir right there.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah.
But well, yeah, well, let's talk about so you guys have signed with Ragebreed Records and you're going to re-release your EP that you released before As Above So Below. How did that come about? How did you guys end up kind of connecting with them and what made you decide to re-release the original EP?
So James from Rage Breed had reached out to us, and we're local and we're friends, and he saw that as above being that when we released it, we just did it on our own and kind of just it went into the ether over there and didn't really do what it should have done. He wanted to give it a second chance, and we're currently actually recording our full length. So he said, "Hey, why don't we just re-release as above and get it out there, so we have something off of Rage Breed."
Cool. So are you guys re-recording that as well and then remixing and mastering, or are they just going to re-release it through the label and then eventually what you guys are working on now?
So we're just literally just doing a re-release this way. At least some people can hear it,
Yeah.
beyond what we did. Um, the next thing that we're doing, we're already in pre-production with, so we should be releasing something towards the end of the year.
Nice, nice. Well, that'll be perfect then, being able to kind of do those back to back. Are you with the album that's coming out at the end of the year? Are you guys going to do some touring with it?
Hopefully, yeah,
Yeah.
that's in the works right now. So we have a couple of guest musicians also on this album.
Okay.
So, we're trying to make sure that we can maybe if we go out, we could hit the spots and they can meet up with us and perform live as well. So
Yeah.
it'd be nice.
That would that would be awesome. Yeah, because you guys are in New York, correct?
Yeah, yeah,
So you're
yeah.
kind of in an area to where you can hit a whole bunch of spots close by, um, as like a mini tour, but still, because I'm in Idaho, so there's no like quick like little tours that happen here. Every place is very, very far away. All the states are very spread out. But yeah, with you guys, you're going to kind of in the apex of a whole bunch of different areas. Now, with being a band in New York, do you feel like it's easier to get your music out there and to get people to come, or more difficult because it's such a like busy place with a lot of bands and a lot of music?
Well, you kind of said it both right there. It's a truth. It is a catch 22 because there's such an oversaturation here in the city that and everything is also very expensive too. So to get noticed in a live show is kind of difficult. So not so much in Manhattan. I work in Manhattan, but we've never actually played in Manhattan just because of how expensive it is. But we try to hit the outer boroughs. We play with a lot of bands from the outer boroughs, like Queens and Brooklyn. Brooklyn is pretty much the scene here now. But we go to Connecticut, we go to New Jersey, we go to Pennsylvania. And when we're doing localized tours, we try to meet up with other bands from those areas so we can just do a nice little circuit over here. So the circuit really is just the New England into Pennsylvania for right now, and then
Makes
the
sense.
Southern Circuit starts at Virginia, which will start. But last year when we were on tour with Skin Lab and we were driving through the Midwest, and then we started to see the distance between venues, we're like, "Ooh, we got it lucky." We're
Yeah.
complaining about a 2 hour drive. You guys are doing 6 hours to go to a
Oh
show.
yeah.
Crazy.
We're actually Friday going down to Salt Lake for a couple shows, and that's about a 5 hour drive.
That's wow.
Which is the closest place. It's not too bad. I mean, Portland or Seattle is about an 8 hour drive, so like Salt Lake's the closest.
Wow.
And we get a decent amount of shows here in Boise, but we also get skipped, somewhat often because of how far away we are from everybody else that they have to hit. They have to hit Washington, they have to hit Oregon, they have to hit California, they have to hit Nevada, they have to hit Utah, and we're just
Yeah.
kind of like a meh.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. A friend of mine in another band, he went out and did a small Midwest tour last year, and he was like, we should really go do that, get into the heartland. So we do have plans on coming out your way.
Awesome. Yeah. We have a really amazing metal scene here, actually. Very, very supportive, very big community here that you wouldn't think in I don't even I can only guess what people think of Idahoans, but they're very friendly, but it's
Oh,
Idaho.
I could say out east, not too many people think about Idaho more than potatoes.
Truth. That's a very good point. Yeah, usually kind of out of sight, out of mind. And a lot of the times I'll be like, Iowa? Nope.
Yeah,
There's another one.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
How is your scene there? Is your scene pretty supportive?
Yeah, yeah. Our scene is supportive. I know there was a long pause there.
Yeah,
So
think about it.
our scene is supportive, but there are niche pockets of people,
Yeah.
because there's literally so many people down here that band gets a little bit of a following from maybe like the rehearsal studio area that they're from, where people hear them, and then all of a sudden they're on a bill with us or we're on a bill with them, and it's like everybody's like, "Ooh, you like metal? This is not allowed. You're not part of our pocket," and it's good. Like we bridged a lot of gaps down here, and there's a lot of local bands that we try to bring together, and that's actually how I started working with James. Um, through Tour de Thrash, we were trying to create a nice network of bands that are willing to help each other and
Yeah.
make the scene be about the scene, not just about the individual.
Yeah, that's what you have to do anymore. I mean, music has changed so much throughout the years, and being able to have those people that are willing to kind of try to bring something more cohesive and more collaborative is so important anymore.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
especially so in another demon, Jun, the other guitarist, and Max, they're both a little older,
Hmm.
so their uh, their standard for the scene is completely different than it is
Oh
now.
yeah.
It's also a little shell shock for them too, seeing how it is. But we all make the effort and try to bring it to the level where it should be. There's no
So we're
more
both
heavy metal parking lot.
right. So were both of them out of the scene for a while and then came back, or just how you guys how they're used to operating versus how you newer guys are operating?
Yeah, it's a little bit more so that Jun took a little bit of a hiatus of playing, but he was always playing in and out of bands. Max is a multi instrumentalist. He plays jazz. He plays a bunch of different things. He's actually a drummer by trade. When he was in Sick of It All,
Right.
he was their touring drummer. So
Hmm.
now he's singing and playing bass.
Which
It's
is
amazing how much.
so weird. I just like 2 nights ago, maybe 3 nights ago, we were listening to a Sick of It All out of nowhere. Like sometimes we'll just go through YouTube and be like, oh, like nostalgia, or oh, have you ever heard this? And one of them was a Sick of It All song, and I can't remember what one it was now. But I was like, how bizarre that there was that link, just a few nights later, because I haven't listened to them for years,
Yeah, yeah, no,
decades.
same. That was like a band you listened to in high school, and like now I'm playing with the guy that played drums in them.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So tell me about your background. What got you kind of into the genre? What made you decide that this is what you wanted to do?
So I grew up in a 80s hair metal local band. That's what my parents were.
Oh,
So I was
fun.
exposed to that, and then when I was, I think about like 10, I discovered King Diamond, and things just kind of kind of went on a snowball down that alley right there, and
Yeah.
got into shred metal and thrash metal. And
Hmm.
for a while, I was playing in a band called Metadox. In that band, everybody grew apart from each other, still friends.
Hmm.
And then I joined a band called Desdemone, which was female-fronted symphonic metal,
Hmm.
and we
Cool.
were signed on Radtone out of Japan.
Oh, nice.
And we did a little touring. We played a European festival right in our first year of being together. So that was
Mhm.
pretty cool. Um, and then I took a little time off to be a good parent, you know.
Yeah.
And when I got back into it, I started jamming with a old drummer who's also named Frank. Um, he was in Metadox with me back in the day for a little bit, and while we were jamming, stuff just started flowing and flowing and flowing. And then I put an ad out on Craigslist, and Max answered it, and we kind of got real serious real quick,
Yeah.
and it formed into what it is now.
So what is your hope? What is your goal moving forward? Because some bands they're like, I just kind of want to stay in the pocket, right? Because family, because responsibilities, it's very difficult nowadays. And
Yeah.
other bands are like, I want to just push as far as we can make this go. Where are you at with all that?
So I'm blessed to have a good career and longevity in my career. So that's a good thing, and I don't really want to jeopardize that too much. However,
Sure.
um, we all watch Family Feud from time to time, and you hear Steve Harvey say the nice wisdom of if you don't jump, you're never going to get there, right? So that's what we're doing with this. We're trying to see how far we can go with it, and baseline, we want to at least play out in Europe once a year, maybe do one or two smaller tours in the States, you know, throughout the year, and just put out some good music and collaborate with some good musicians.
Absolutely. Was your dream band to be able to play with?
Oh God, Exodus, absolutely. Like
Exodus.
like first right out the gates. Yeah,
We're
Exodus, Testament. Yeah.
Oh, we just saw Testament last weekend. I think yeah, it was
Mhm.
Sunday. And then Exodus is going to be here in May. I just interviewed Rob Dukes a couple
Oh,
weeks
nice.
ago. Yeah, he was playing fetch with his dog the whole time. It was so freaking adorable.
Yeah.
These metal guys, man, it's funny because people outside of the genre automatically are like, oh, scary, angry, all those things. And it's like, so Corpse Grinder is always collecting stuffed animals and giving it to kids. Like and I swear the more extreme the metal it is, the like bigger teddy bear. It's like big dogs, right? The bigger they are, the nicer that they are. So
Absolutely, absolutely. There's only I could less than one hand I can count the amount of not so friendly metalheads that I've ever
yeah.
met.
Yep. Yep, same. And unfortunately, one of mine is that was not so friendly. The two times I met him, is in the thrash scene in one of my favorite bands, and I won't say who, but yeah, most of the time, like just wonderful people. And that's, I mean, obviously there's going to be those people anywhere, but it does seem like in this community, it's a lot more difficult to find those ones that are not so friendly.
Oh,
Usually
100,
they're, yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So what made you decide to go into more of like the thrash genre of things?
Well, so I really didn't love that 80s hair metal thing I grew up in.
Yeah.
And, seeing my dad dressed in what was it, leopard spandex and Paul Stanley like makeup was like so off-putting. And I will admit I did follow Ingve for quite some time when I was in high school, but after that I was like, I like the heavy sound. I had first heard Cannibal Corpse when I was about 16, and I was like, oh my God, this stuff is great. And then I saw them, I was like, oh my God, they're not putting up all that crap. They're just going on in fatigues, and long sleeve shirts.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
we could do that. That's cool. And that's been the trend. I kind of do feel, not to go on a tangent, but I do kind of feel that bands should stop looking like slobs when they're on stage, and maybe, remember they're performing too,
Right.
just
Yeah.
like the younger generation, they're going on in sweatpants, and I'm like, what?
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, over here, forget it. Oh, yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Interesting.
I'm like, you going in sweatpants? What are you doing? Like, I got a battle vest that I sat here and I spent 11 hours sewing and
Yeah.
bleeding all over the damn thing because I don't know what I'm doing, but I do it.
Fair. Yeah. Yeah. That's like kind of a rite of passage, right? Is sewing your own patches on.
But as far as like playing guitar, I mean, it's just naturally that's the feel for me, more of a power thrashy feel. I've always been inclined towards. Like one of my favorite bands, even though they're controversial, I don't really care. Is Iced Earth.
Uh-huh.
And I mean they're power metal, but I mean his right hand, him and James Hetfield. I mean you could put them right up against each other, and I think he's actually the winner on that. And
Yeah.
you don't get much more thrash than that.
Right.
You know,
Right. Um, Speaking of just thrash in general, out of the big four, who's your pick?
I would have to go with Slayer on the big four.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
I would have to stick with Slayer. Yeah.
I know that this is like the most unpopular opinion, but I'm a huge Anthrax fan. And I will like die on that hill. And it's funny because that's like the people, a lot of people don't even think they belong in the big four, and I freaking love them. Both versions, Joey and
John
oh
Bush.
my gosh, what's that?
John Bush. Yeah.
John Bush. Yeah, I totally just spaced his name. See, late in the day.
And don't forget Neil Turbin too.
Yeah, that one was a little less for me, but
That was
still.
a little less for everybody. That's why he's not there.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I actually prefer the Bush era, which is funny that I spaced his name, but Belladonna is such an incredible performer that it's hard to not like want to just be absorbed in him.
Yeah. But asking somebody, especially in our uh, type of musical proclivity, to say which one of the big four is yours, it's kind of like asking, you like pepperoni on your pizza or just a regular cheese pie, because they're all still great. Anthrax, I mean, they some of them grew up around here, so they're like idols of mine when I was growing up.
Yeah, yeah.
Overkill too.
I just saw Overkill with Testament, and I saw them back on Gigantour when Megadeth was doing that, and it was
Mm,
like Lamb of God, Opeth, and Overkill was like on a side stage, and I left that place just a huge Overkill fan. Like they were the ones of the night of seeing incredible bands. They were the
mm,
ones that I left going, holy shit! So I was really excited to see them again.
yeah. I would
Plus,
love to
Bobby's
see.
amazing.
Oh yeah, Bobby's great. Like Bobby comes around to a lot of the shows around here,
Mhm.
so it's really nice to get to see him, and he's like incognito with a little baseball hat over, like 6'3". Everybody sees you.
Right, right. So, being involved in music, it sounds like your whole life, and different genres of music. You said symphonic metal was one of them that you did. Um, do you listen to any other like either styles of music or styles of metal outside of those like specific genres?
Oh yeah, I listen to a lot of stuff. I'm sure you do this too. Like you'll get something in your head, and then all of a sudden you're on that band for like a week and a half or a month or whatever it is. Like
Mm-hmm.
right now, currently for me, it's Nevermore. I'm so
Oh, huh.
excited they're coming back. It's like, oh my God. I'm re-listening to all these albums right now. Dead Heart in a Dead World. It's like my train ride to work every day.
Oh, nice.
But I love a lot of symphonic metal. I would say, I'm a little more picky with it because to me, when I was in that band, I had to scrutinize symphonic metal, especially female fronted, so much. So I'm very partial to Nightwish.
Mhm.
But I'm very partial to like certain eras of Nightwish, which I
Yeah.
like the Floor Jansen
Mm.
Nightwish the best. It's
Yeah.
lack of better term, it has the most balls out of all
Hmm.
the Nightwish.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
It's
incredible.
funny. I didn't listen to to symphonic metal at all until I started doing this. And then I started just kind of broadening my horizons a little bit and found that I really, really dug it a lot more than I thought I would. I didn't think it was going to be my thing, but ended up getting to a point where I was like, I get it, you know, and obviously incredible musicians, like across the board when it's symphonic metal, it's not, there's no lousy musicians that are
No,
involved.
no slouches in that genre.
No, no. Same with thrash. I mean, I guess with rhythm there can be like some like repetition, but still like fast as shit. So there's no
Yeah.
like
And it depends on the band because there's a lot of
for
stuff
sure.
you never hear, and then you're learning those songs. You're like, what the hell? I don't hear this on the track, but this is the line. Okay, you're sweating halfway through the first half of the song. You're like, oh my god.
Yeah, yeah. Is there so which guitarist would you say is someone that you have either really like looked up to or tried to master or just are like they're someone that's up here and I just want to keep watching them up here, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's a cool question. That's a very cool question, actually. So a lot of thrash guitarists, they're very intricate, but they're easily able to like, you in thrash, you play stuff you want people to play, right? Because you want that scene to thrive, no matter where you are. So, Rob Castavania, Death Angel, of course, Gary Holt. I mean, you can't not say him. Uh, God, there's so many guitarists out there that I love, and I like to hold myself to that standard. I mean, Eric Peterson from Testament is just, I mean, that guy can write a riff for days. Like he's just like a riff master. But then you have guitarists like like Jeff Loomis, where you're like, I'm never going to be able to do that. Well, maybe I might be, but maybe when I'm like 60 and then the arthritis will really take over. If I haven't gotten there yet, I'm not going to get there, but I will definitely sit there and stare and watch and listen all day. So I mean, for me, I also love guitarists like Michael Amott from Arch Enemy because they know how to set a theme, they know how to set a melody in a song.
Yeah,
Well, they still keep it heavy, it
yeah.
doesn't wuss it out, like some people feel.
Mhm. Right, for sure. Yeah, a friend of mine, Joey Conception, is now playing with them, and he definitely is killing it right alongside. I mean, they're such an interesting band. They're one of those that you know what you're gonna get, but yet you don't know what you're gonna get, you know? It's gonna sound like Arch Enemy, but it's also gonna like potentially have some flavor in there that you're not expecting, and I like that about them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was coming up in a fortunate time because Nevermore was just hitting really big with Century Media. Arch Enemy just came out with Wages of Sin. Not long before that, Iced Earth had Something Wicked come out. So like those bands all together, all of them were touring right when I was coming out and starting to play out a lot. So it was like,
Awesome.
oh wow, this is great. So I love seeing where they're at now. Yeah, for the most
Yes.
part.
Yeah, yeah, you never know too. Like you can see that a band you feel like is truly special and should make it and they don't always. And then you'll see ones that you'd be like maybe not as memorable and then all of a sudden they're exploding. So it's really interesting how that all works and I don't know. I don't know if it is like you said being able to get more notice on As Above So Below with this new re-release will obviously be able to put more eyes and ears ears on
Yeah, yeah,
on something that yeah you guys have created a while ago and it's a fantastic album. I was really surprised that I hadn't heard of it before because I love thrash and so I was just and it's a fantastic album and so I was like but there's so many albums out there anymore and so many bands out there anymore so I'm really glad that you guys are getting this opportunity to be able to re-release that and I'm super stoked to hear what you guys are coming out with next. We'll definitely be all ears for that too, and keeping our eyes open for when that's being released.
yeah. I'll give a little teaser on that. So our um our drummer, uh he didn't actually record on the As Above, So Below. That was the my old bandmate Frank that recorded, but he had family stuff and, physically, doing what we were going to do, he's a dad, that's what he's
Yeah,
committed to. So
yeah.
we had gotten a drummer in, his name was Jorge. He was playing with us for a long time. And, he's got a little disillusioned with the scene because he was in too many bands at once,
Yeah.
so threw himself thin. So instead, now he's going to be drumming on YouTube. So
Mm.
we got that news and we were like, oh, all right. So what are we going to do? So we put out a bunch of feelers. So right now I can't like fully disclose what happened, but we had gotten a drummer to do our recording for the album, and he's a household name.
Okay.
So we'll put it like that.
That's exciting.
Um, I can't express how fun and exciting it is to be able to play with somebody like that. And then on top of that, then we just got um, Dave English as our drummer. And Dave over here, he's well known locally. He teaches at School of Rock over here. I mean, he's
Oh,
he's a
nice.
he's a
Yeah.
high level drummer. So having those options, yeah, to us, and putting out this new album is going to be really, really fun.
Oh yeah, no, it sounds definitely more and more intriguing. With this person that you can't mention, which I totally understand. Do you feel like you learned some things from them since it sounds like they have a lot of experience?
Um, it was a little humbling because the energy was very reciprocal, more reciprocal than I thought it would have been playing with somebody of that
Mm.
caliber.
Mm-hmm.
And for our songs to sound as good as they do with the inflections that he put on it, it's pretty kick-ass.
That's exciting. So live performances, obviously you have to have your drummer like on par, and it sounds like you did find someone who's going to be on par with whoever was recording.
Oh yeah.
For your live shows, what's something that you guys really try to focus on because you do want to be memorable, right? And so what are some things that you guys focus on with the live show?
So we've done a lot of experimenting. Um, Max is a very creative multi-instrumentalist person. So he has a couple of ideas for the show where we'll like have a lot of silence going on and just let the
Oh.
music try to speak for itself, kind of like they used to back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And we've tried it with a couple of different approaches, but for this record release show that we're doing on the 18th, um, we're actually Max is just going to sing that show. So we have a friend of ours from a local band over here that goes by the name of Avari. His name is Fred. He's gonna come in and he's gonna play bass for the show, and we're gonna see how it feels being a five piece. So that's the new approach we're doing for this
Dang.
one.
All right. Interesting. Cool. Well, yeah, I saw one video, I think it was a year ago. I want to say it was a year ago of you guys playing, and you definitely have a lot of energy, high energy, which you have to with thrash. I can't
Yeah,
imagine being up there right now.
it's great because you get to move around, and you're like, oh, intricate part, I gotta focus.
All
Like
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
I tend to have like a corner of the stage and let everybody else run around.
Well, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of concentration that comes into that. My son's a guitar player, and watching him even like sit down and try to learn something new or create his own thing. I mean, there's so much focus and stuff that goes into that. So I'm sure when you're like playing in front of people, it's like, okay, having fun, but also like gotta make sure that I'm playing this correctly.
Yeah, yeah. Walking and chewing gum is not so easy.
Right. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And then when people can, so I'm a huge, huge Unprocessed fan. I don't know if you've heard them, the band out of Germany. They're like a progressive metal band, but the dude that Manuel Fernandez, gosh, my brain is just a mess tonight. I can't remember his full name right now. Manuel Gardner Fernandez, something like that. Anyways, he plays insane like progressive guitar parts while he sings and
Oh, I can't.
screams.
I can't.
Like I watch him and my brain just breaks. I'm like, because I played guitar too and tried to sing at the same time. I'm like, no, I'm mediocre at best, and that's and that's being so generous with myself. I haven't played for a long time, but I watch him and I'm like, I can't even understand how that's possible. I don't even understand how it's two different parts of your brain operating at the same time. I don't get it. He's a
Yeah,
wizard.
like you were saying, as far as like guitarists that you just look at that you know you're never gonna play like before. Another one is Isan from Emperor, right? Because like you're saying with this guy, it's like Isan's
Mhm.
basically playing black metal prog and
Yes.
singing and doing different singing voices too. You
Yes.
know, it's like okay, all right,
There
you have a
are
special talent.
yeah, I don't know how they do it. I don't know. I did get to ask him how because I'm like I don't even I just can't comprehend how you're able to do that. And he's like I learn or I, create it whatever, and then I just play it and play it and play it until I can play it in my sleep, and then I add like vocals on top of it, and I'm like okay, that makes sense, but it still seems impossible.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
So
still
that's what I
focusing on how to play these songs I just wrote. How you doing that? You know?
right. So that's what I'm expecting out of you next, okay?
Yeah, no, not a problem. Not a problem. Actually, I did attempt that a couple times and
Did you?
got through some live shows. It was all right, but like I wouldn't. I don't like it. You know,
You
it's just
want to
too much.
focus on what it
Yeah.
writes.
Like I
But
like structure. You know, like I like to be the guy that's like holding everything down. And I'm
right.
like, oh, it's too
When
much.
did you start playing guitar?
Uh, for serious, you hear me? For seriously, I started when I was about 15, and
Mhm.
I'm 44 now, so I
You're
don't like that.
44?
Yeah,
You do not look 44.
44, and I got a kid that just started driving, so that's a fun little adventure in life right there.
Yeah, my son's turning 18 next month, and I remember the driving part was nerve-wracking. I still get nervous with him driving, and he's almost a freaking adult. But yeah,
Mhm.
it goes fast. Yeah, I would have thought you were in your like late 20s, early 30s.
Oh, why? Thank you, thank you.
Well, you're
Um,
welcome.
I like you even more now. Uh,
That's what I was going for.
yeah, no, it, I've been playing since I was about 15, and
Yeah.
when I hit about 19 or 20 is when I started playing thrash for as like my bass line. Like I learned a bunch of stuff. Everybody learned Sabbath and Skinner and Zeppelin and stuff. But when I was playing with guys in bands, which some are still lifelong friends, we just started discovering more and more different stuff. And like my best friend, he was playing in a band, the Metal Blade, called Obsessimus. He was a bass player and a vocalist.
Uh,
And he turned me on to black metal. I got into death metal on my own.
mhm.
I come from the area where NYDM started, so all those
Mm-hmm.
guys were around here. So when I was growing up, I mean, Mortician was here all the time, Malignancy, Immolation. Even there was a small club that we used to sneak into. It was owned by a little person. I'll say it the right way. His name was Henry. He used to own a rehearsal studio that all of us went to. But he had a small club called the Lowdown. And I used to sneak in there and watch Overkill play all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they
you're
had a
still fan first.
oh wow, 100%. Well,
Oh
listen, Overkill had the A Team van. You remember the A Team?
yeah.
So they had that, but it was black and green instead of black and red. And then when the
Oh,
doors
that's
opened,
fun.
there was such a cloud that came out of that thing. But whatever. But whenever we saw that, we knew that it was going to be a good show, so we were able to sneak in.
It's
It's cool.
awesome. What a cool like area to be able to experience so many different things in.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. You look at the places like that, and they're long gone, unfortunately. Like that place is a
Yeah.
grocery store now. Oh,
Jeez.
oh.
And they're probably playing Overkill music at the grocery store.
Yeah, right. You're a figure.
That'd be
Yeah,
cool. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking this time with me. I don't want to take too much of your time up, but I am definitely looking forward to hearing what you guys end up coming out with the album at the end of the year. And I hope that this re-release goes super well for you because it definitely needs to be heard. It's a fantastic EP
thank you so much. I
for sure.
appreciate it.
I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too.
Thank you. Bye.